Teesside, where many Forces families rely on social housing. Now, many of these family homes could be broken up because of the bedroom tax. Homes like Alison Huggan's in Middlesbrough, a 3-bedroom house with 2 of those bedrooms belonging to her 18-year-old twin sons.
Hello, Alison.
Hello, Victoria. How are you?
Fine.
Aaron and Aness are serving in the army. Aaron in the Yorkshire Regiment and Aness in the Fusiliers, which means they're away from home much of the time. The new tax means that any rooms not occupied for longer than 13 weeks will incur a penalty. And that means Alison will lose £25 of her £71 a week in benefits, forcing her to move out.
They wouldn't have anywhere to stay. They'd obviously have to stay on camp on their leave, and maybe I would have to visit them. Or maybe they could come, would be able to come home, but have to maybe stay in a hotel or maybe an army hostel.
And how do they feel about that?
They're not happy about it. Obviously, it's their home, and you know they long to come home, and I'm sure every soldier does, to the mum and families. And it's quite unfair that because of their job, they are being disadvantaged.
Alison has no problem moving to 1-bedroom accommodation like this tower block. The issue is there's not enough of this kind of housing stock in the area, and even if she does manage to move, there'll be no family home for her sons to come back to when they're on leave. The Department for Work and Pensions told me there'd be no exception for cases like Alison's, saying they need to make better use of the social housing stock in the interests of fairness. Ironically, there's not much demand for 3-bedroom houses in the area, while smaller properties are harder to find.
A lot of them don't want to move to smaller properties, and that's to do with they're happy in the property, in the area that they're in, and affordability is also an issue. If we had the stock to accommodate them, and if it was empty, then they still have to find the costs of moving to another property, and that can be around £1,500.
If Alison can't move, her sons will have to pay to keep their bedrooms, which she says penalises them for being in the army.
It's a disadvantage to them and myself, because if they did have jobs here on Civvy Street, we wouldn't have this problem of the bedroom tax, because we wouldn't be under occupying. But I do believe we're not under occupying, because the rooms are there, they are theirs, they're needed for when they come home.
And she believes the military covenant is failing to support her family.
Reading the Armed Forces Covenant and the promise that David Cameron made, I feel as though he's breaking his promises towards my boys, but also other families that are having this problem in the forces, because I'm not in a vacuum. There is hundreds like me, and I'm sure that them people will probably come forward in the future.
The bedroom tax comes into force in April, just when soldiers like Aaron and Aness will be hoping to come home on leave for Easter. Victoria Smith, Forces News, Teesside.